Hello guys, here today, we're going to talk about the piano chords. So there are different types of piano chords. There are major chords, there are minor chords, and there are suspended chords, as well as augmented chords, and diminished chords. And so many other kinds of chords we're going to talk about. A major chord is always the first, the third, and the fifth note of that major scale. A minor chord is the first, third, and fifth note of that minor scale, which is where chords on the piano come from. But if we change from a major chord, then we change one of our fingers to the fourth note, it means a suspended 4, or it's written down SUS4. To change that to 2, as a suspended 2 chord, written as SUS2. Now, augmented and diminished chords are very uncommon. A diminished chord is usually a passing chord. An augmented chord is also another good passing chord. Suspended chords can also be used for passing chords as well, if you wanted to. There are other types of chords as well. A dominant 7 chord is a normal chord, but then it's dominant sevenths. Which means they're taking the seventh note of that major scale. They're taking the major chord and taking that that scale's minor. So if it's like C major, we can take the seventh note of the C minor chord, the scale. Or if it's E major, or if you're doing the E7, you're gonna take the seventh note of an E minor scale. Like what Bruno Mars does in When I Was Your Man. Now, a minor 7 chord is a very harmonious chord. It shows up in the Sign This by Coldplay. A minor 7 chord, taking the 7th minor note of the minor scale. So if it's the D minor scale, it's going to add the 7th note of the D minor scale. Same for E minor. But now, if you take the first 2 notes of the major scale, then the major 7th, you have a major 7 chord. These are major 7ths. It shows up in the beginning of the song. It shows up in the beginning of Dark to Smile. Both of the first 2 chords are a major 7 chord. When taking like that, it's a major 7 chord, because it's the major 7ths of the exact same scale. Because the scale has a major and a minor scale. That's C major, that's C minor. So now, when you look at different scales, they are all made up of 8 notes, which means that you always have a major, you always have 3 major chords if you're using diatonics. So now in E flat major, you have 3 major chords, which is E flat, B flat, and A flat And then the rest of the chords, this is going to be minor. Now which is normal. Looks like you do diminished chord. Because when you look at a diatonic scale thing, you have major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. So the 7th chord is the diminished chord, 6th chord minor, 5 and 4 major, 3 and 2 minor, and number 1 is the major chord because that's the scale that you're in. So I can see major, it's major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, major. Diatonic chords are the reason why music is a thing. And without music, without diatonic chords, how else would there be music? Anyway, chords like that just keep on going. Major 7, major 9, major 11, and major 13. Then a major 15 is not a chord because that'll just be this. That's a major 15 right there. That'll be a major 15, that's just not even a thing. The major 13 chords are a thing. That's probably the farthest we've gone. Now there's also this. This is called an added 2 chord. Because you're putting the second note, added 2 or added 9. Added 9 is the same as another note, and it's down out in the middle of nowhere. But it's the exact same note. Either that it's in the chord, or it's outside the chord. But it's the exact same note. Like an added 2 C chord, you're adding a D here. And the added 9 is adding a D over here. So it should be the exact same note, just put in a different spot. Added 2 and added 9 chords should sound different because of where that one note is located. Now, there are other types of sus chords. 7 sus suspended 2 and 4 chords. Like a 7, an E flat 7 sus 4 chord is this. An E flat 7 sus 2 chord is this. Sorry, that. So the suspended chords go on. And that is a dominant 11. And that right there is a dominant 9. Now, actually, sorry, can I say up for a moment? Oh, that way. Because the other dominant chords are not those. Dominant 11. A C dominant 11 chord, you guys, it actually this. So what I said before was incorrect. And then a C dominant 13 chord is this. So, scrubbed west of this, like I said right before, I did not understand. There are also dominant 9 chords. And a C dominant 9 chord is this. I said that this was a dominant 9 chord, that's incorrect, it's this. I meant to say that, but that's a dominant 9. So dominant has dominant 7, 9, 11, and 13s. And there's just so many different things that you can do. With so many different things in And basically, the different kinds of scales and the notes and the chords don't matter as much. But what matters the most about this video was just understanding different types of chords. Because when it comes to the piano, there are so many different types of chords, which are important. Because the minor chords also go into effect as well, going farther and farther and farther as well. So, because there are also the major sixth chords, as we mentioned before. And there's also minor sixth chords as well. So this is a C minor sixth chord. And then there are the minor seven chords we went over. Then there are minor nine chords as well. This is a C minor 9. You probably know what a C minor 11 chord probably is. Just gonna add an F. Basically, a C minor 11 chord is like taking a C minor chord and putting a B flat major chord with it. And a C major 11 chord is basically like taking a C major chord and putting a B minor 11, putting a B minor chord with it. So, yeah. And then a C minor 13 chord would be exactly what you would think about. Most likely. And if you're not thinking that, it's okay. But chords there are just so many different chords. Anyway, so there are diminished, major, minor, diminished, augmented, sus 2 and 4, 7, sus 2 and 4, 6, 7, 9, major 7, major 9, 11, minor 6, minor 7, minor 9, and minor 11 as well. But there's so many other things that we could do. Because if you took every other note, that's basically almost getting there. However, basically what a C major 11 is that you're basically kind of trying to go into a different world and stuff, because you wouldn't expect it to be that way. Because like, why would it go into the F sharp? Because you're trying to go somewhere else. So that is really a C major 11 chord issue. You're trying to understand if any of this is real. Now the different things are that sometimes usually songs are written in different chord progressions. They're what we call actual chord progressions. Because there are two different versions of chord progressions. That's one type of chord progression which you probably heard if you're a piano player. And then there's also the pop chord progression. The pop chord progression is 1, 5, 6, 4. I think that 1 is going to be the major chord, 2 is another major chord, and then 3 would be the minor, and the 4 is the major chord. Because that's how the pop chord progression works. 1 is the major chord, 5 is the major chord, 6 is the minor chord, and 4 is the major chord. Which is what the pop chord progression is, and it shows up in so many different musical songs, because that is the most used type of musical chord progression. They call it the pop chord progression. But some songs won't do that. So, anyway, because songs that do use the pop chord progression you would probably know. But there are songs that don't use the chord progression, like All of Me by John Legend. So I'm liking this one to start off with the minor chord first. And then he follows up with all the major chords. Or Vida Vida by Coldplay. Chris Martin decided to put all of the C major chords and then finishes off with a minor chord. Or Harry Styles, and As It Was, puts the major chord first, a minor chord second, and then another major chord, and then yet followed by another major chord. And some artists, such as The Weeknd, and They Won't Blinding Lights, decided to put a minor chord, and another minor chord, and then a major chord, and a major chord. So you can do whatever you want. But before, we're basically done with this, except that there's something. If you've ever heard the song Trouble by Coldplay, if you are not, go and listen to that song because there's something about it. Not about the beginning, but when Chris Martin wrote this song, he does something kind of odd. He decided to start with a G major chord, which means that the song was like he's in G major. And it follows that for a little bit, followed by E minor, which makes the most amount of sense. Then goes into B minor. But when I listen to this song, he throws us a curveball and gives us an F major chord. Kind of interesting. The weirdest part about the whole song is about how Chris Martin decided to use A minor and A major in the exact same song. You can't just use a minor and a major chord the same exact key in the same song. Some artists will use all minor chords, or sometimes use all major chords. Just as the song Drop to Jupiter by Train, every single one of the chords used is a major chord. It's C major, G major, and F major. Because you could use all major chords. Because you can write, whatever you can write is whatever you use. And usually if you can think to it, then you can write it. Which is probably why Chris Martin made that curveball in Trouble. Which is probably why Train decided to use a lot of major chords and minor chords. Their song can have more than one major chord, more than one minor chord. It can have a combo of 2 major and 2 minors, or it can even have more than a few chords. Like in the song Diamonds to Smile by Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga, and as the piano tutorial on, they use an A major 7, a D major 7, E major, and then they also use 4 more chords for the refrains. So they use a total of 7 chords. Or even Bruno Mars in When I Was Your Man, he uses a bunch of chords because he wants to, because you can use as many chords as you can. So whatever you can do. Now in music, there are so many different types of chords, so many different types of things you can do with chords, but I hope that this video is very helpful in understanding different chords and chord progressions for songs, so that when you listen to songs next time, you won't be confused about that stuff. But really, that's about it. The only other thing that I was noticing is about how in the start of an Olinger Man, remember, it doesn't use a G dominant 7 chord correctly. Dominant 7 chords have to resolve down to a different chord usually, but not always. And some of the use of chord progression, by the way, are very well learned. Some artists might even pick out to use all the chords with just one note. Kind of like what Van Halen does in Jump, where he uses C's with every single chord. Because he thought that would work, and it does. And sometimes songs are obnoxious or whatever, but sometimes artists use very interesting chords. But sometimes there are chords like this. And this is just called an inversion. Because major chords have exactly something called trio inversions. Because the normal position is called the root position. The first one is called inversion 1, the second one you can call inversion 2. Every single chord has exactly trio inversions. And not just major chords have inversions. Guys, minor chords do as well. Sometimes you might see chords like C minor over G. This would be a C minor over a G. Or it would be like C over G is this. I mean, yes, or C over G, or whatever, like that kind of way. Because sometimes that's how chords are written. Now, I did hope that you found this video very useful, as I did explain different types of piano chords and how chord progression work. If you found this useful, you can share this with other music friends or music teachers, because piano chords and chords themselves are very confusing. I kind of broke them down for you and broke down a little bit of stuff about music. I did not break down how rhythms work because that would be a whole other video. But for now, that is the basic of pianos, notes and scales. See you in another video.